their ground and said, our duty is simple, to treat patients.
What you're bringing here is not a patient known by nature or in medical terms. He's dead, not even on arrival, but was dead before even arrival. That is the same thing the county assembly is doing, bringing you a dead body in the name of a dead motion and expecting you to invoke your powers under Article 181 and Section 33. We dare submit, honorable senators, that is not even a dead motion. This motion is stillbirth. It never got to be born. Why? Because it was never be debated and it was never dissolved to impeach the governor of Isiolo County. Honorable senators, when you look at the arguments by the county assembly, they are telling you that we need to go to trial to establish whether the Hansards that we took time to impeach communicate of a house having sat. Now, what witness is being brought before the Senate to address you on things that are clear? Documents speak for themselves. The answers that we took time to take you through are not our documents. They are not documents hinged on an affidavit. They are documents supplied by the county assembly. None of the council who appeared before you took time to address you on any issues that we address you on to suggest that there is no way a sitting could have taken place. So do you then call a witness here to come and address you on issues that are glaring, that are very obvious on the face of it? It would be a total waste of your time, honorable senators. There has been also an attempt by the county assembly to portray the governor of Isiolo County as a person who advances a self-defeating argument just because it is seen that he approached the High Court to impeach this process. It has been said that the governor acknowledged that proceedings took place. Nothing can be further from the truth. Honorable senators, the honorable governor of Isiolo County went to the High Court in Isiolo based on a press release by the Speaker of Isiolo County purporting to communicate a resolution to remove him from office. A press release that was not backed by any other evidence that indeed there were proceedings that took place. Honorable senators, you will not come across any broadcast of the proceedings that are said to have taken place on 26th of June, 2026. Nothing. Not from mainstream media, not from local media, nothing. The only communication that the governor got was a press release that the county speaker had just to demonstrate that there were proceedings that took place. And therefore, honorable senators, we urge you to invoke your powers. I stood here last year in October, representing the County Assembly of Kericho. A question arose as to the propriety of that motion. Debate was held here. And I stood to defend the position that proceed and hear the charges on merit, and if there is any question on the propriety of that motion, deal with it at that juncture. Honorable senators, I remember the words of distinguished Senator for Kakamega, Boni Kawale. He told me, and I quote, Mr. Mutuma, he called me by name, what do you want the governor to prove? What do you want the governor to prove? That same question is the same question I expect honorable distinguished senator today to ask. Are you inviting the governor to prove that indeed there were proceedings that took place? It was the duty of the county assembly, before they even started submitting, to establish that indeed a sitting took place. There is only one way to demonstrate that, by providing this house with credible answers. And documents, honorable senators, speak for themselves. We do not need a witness to take the witness stand to interpret answers. Hansards are supposed to communicate what transpired verbatim without the need of calling a witness to explain. Their own Hansards, honorable senators, do not demonstrate a likelihood of a sitting having taken place. And therefore, just the same way you set precedents, because this is a house of precedents, that your mandate under Article 33 and 181 encompasses the right to, first of all, interrogate prima facie whether that motion has met that threshold. And that's exactly what we're inviting you to do. If you find that the answers and the documents on record do not support the existence of a valid motion, you do not need to proceed to the next stage. Because once we proceed to the next stage, there is only one duty left for you: to look at the charges on merit and establish whether the governor is guilty or not of the charges that have been preferred against him. I rest my case. Thank you, honorable senators.
Thank you. Now, honorable senators, we will move to clarifications for half an hour. If you get an opportunity to seek for clarification, kindly keep it under 2 minutes so that we can hear a number of you. Now, as you take to the floor to seek your clarifications, kindly indicate from whom you're seeking that clarification. So we're going to do that for half an hour, and thereafter I will give 15 minutes to the team, to the governor's team, and 15 minutes to the county assembly team to respond to the clarification that will have been addressed to them. The Honorable Senator Cheriot, the Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very complex matter, but simple at the same time. I'm struggling as I read the documents from the Assembly and the response from the Governor to establish who is a clerk in the County Assembly of Isiolo. If you read the sworn affidavits from the County Assembly, and I have the two documents here, there's a gentleman quoted who confirms that indeed there was a sitting. The response from the Governor also has a gentleman insisting that he's a clerk for the County Assembly, and he insists that there was no sitting. I'd wish to hear from both councils on who between these two gentlemen is a clerk of the Assembly, and as at the time when they swore these affidavits that are before us, was that the position at that particular time? Because maybe there's a difference in time or whatever. But just to help my mind become clear as I seek to unravel the truth, Mr. Speaker, I'd wish to establish that. I thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to seek clarification. I would like to seek clarification for the advocates of the County Assembly that when I listened to the preliminary objection and the answers the councils gave, and they are very brilliant councils, I know, and I had an opportunity to appear with them in court. What is your rebuttal? Out of the points given, could you point out your rebuttals, 1, 2, 3, so that we can know what points? Otherwise, for me, I just had a big lecture, and I didn't pick out the rebuttal points. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My clarification is, I do understand every house has Hansard. In most cases, like at the Senate, we have video recordings. So do we have the same for the county of Isiolo? Have they submitted the Hansard, the audio Hansard, plus the video Hansard for that day? So that goes to the county assembly and probably also to the governor. And the next question to the governor now, on that day that the governor was invited to appear 9 a.m., at 9 a.m., did he appear? at that particular time. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Professor Tom Ojenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would wish to seek a few clarifications from Council on both sides. Let me start with the Council for the Governor, and I will ask Council Elisha Ongoya this question. Council, your preliminary objection is premised, one, that there is no motion because there were no sittings on the 18th and 26th June 2025. I want you to go straight to address the Senate on the affidavits that have been sworn in support of the fact that there were no sittings. Were there sittings? Were there assembly proceedings? And this I ask because the response from the assembly is not clear as to whether or not there are sittings. Mr. Nyamodi, perhaps this is to you to clarify as well. You said that the sittings on the 18th and 26th informed the basis for orders obtained from the High Court in Meru before Judge Nyaga, and that the doctrine of estoppel should apply to the governor's team, that they cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. Now, please give us a response. Was there a sitting? Was there or was there no sitting? Because that does not answer that word. Number two, to the...
Senator Mungatana.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to seek a clarification. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to hear counsel for the County Assembly. There is a question that has arisen about the High Court sitting in Meru that nullified the decision that was taken through a motion. I wanted to know if they took time to appeal that decision, to seek a stay in that decision, or whether that decision of the High Court is still holding firm. And if so, what does it mean then for the arguments? Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Senator Osotsi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to direct my question to the Council for the Governor, and this is based on the affidavit by Council Deuri, where he has stated that there was no sitting. Mr. Speaker, I find this to be a very fundamental issue in this case, which will determine the direction that this matter will take. But I would want him to weigh that against the provision of Article 159, 2 of the Constitution. This is in regard to the judicial authority, where it says, in exercising judicial authority, the courts and tribunal shall be guided by the following principles. Most importantly, the principle D, that justice shall be administered without undue regard to procedural technicalities. Does this sit in on this principle, considering that having a sitting at a gazetted place is a very fundamental issue that this House will consider?
Senator Fernande Chiranke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One is I wanted to find out from the County Assembly whether your proceedings are live streamed or do you have a YouTube channel where we can refer to? Number two, Speaker, to the County Assembly again. I've seen the affidavit of a clerk. How many clerks do you have? And if so, do you have gazette notice? Because when you look at Standing Order 65 of Isiolo County Assembly Standing Orders, there is a procedure of impeachment. Number five, to Ongoya. We have already disregarded the issue of conservatory orders as a House. What is the difference between conservatory orders and this High Court decision? Number four, finally, Mr. Speaker, I saw there were presence of army or purported in the County Assembly chambers or outside. Who invited them to the County Assembly and who was the clerk then? And finally, when you conducted the public participation, did you disregard the court order that was in place? I submit, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is to the Council for the Assembly. Two quick issues. The Speaker, the answered. That is the official record of debates and proceedings in any legislative body. And you have attached a copy of the answered in your report. Is that the official record? On record, is that the official record? Because the Speaker, then if it is, then perhaps what the answer is in Isiolo is probably different from what we know it. So address us on the issue of the answered. And secondly, the Speaker, the motion that the court in Meru pronounced itself on, is it the very same motion that is here before us? Or is there any alterations to that motion? Is it the same motion that the court in Meru pronounced itself on? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sigei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question, or rather clarification, is to Counsel for the Governor. This is with regards to the validity of the motion that is before the House. You have, this is directly to my senior counsel, Ongoya. The motion before the Senate, you've said, must be solid, valid, and meets the threshold. Other than the decision or determination from the court as to the validity of the motion before the Assembly, is there any other deficiency in the motion that is before this House? Because you have made reference to the precedent set by this House in the Kericho impeachment motion, and at page 147 of volume 4, you will note that the validity of the motion before the House was not one of the three issues that the Speaker in his determination highlighted as subjects that were to be determined at the preliminary stage, or rather at this stage. And secondly, to Counsel Nyamodi for the County Assembly, could you please speak to this aspect in validity of the motion of impeachment, where you have said it has got no effects on the proceedings that is before the House, if I got you right, because there wasn't any rebuttal on that particular submission from your end. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Momo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My question is to the Counsel for the County Assembly, again on the Hansard. Is the Hansard that you have provided an abridged version or the verbatim provision of a Hansard? Secondly, do you have an audio version of this Hansard?
Senator Boni.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mine is to the County Assembly attorneys. My brother Nyamodi, I've listened to you, I've listened to your 4 other colleagues, and none of you has attempted to respond to the grave allegation that the documents purported to be the Hansard are cooked documents. None of you has tried to tell us that they are not. Is it your position that the documents before us here from you are cooked as alleged by counsel from the county assembly, from the governor's office? Secondly, and last, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of Mr. Nyamodi to page 23 of volume 4 of the governor's response, where the governor's advocates are reminding us what the court said. The court said that they do not wish to stop us from listening to this matter. However, the court pricked our conscience, and they told us in bullet 24 that the matter at hand calls for a stand to be taken by constitutional organs involved. What they choose to do will have set a precedent on the necessity for compliance with court orders. And concluded by saying it will be a choice between anarchy and constitutionalism. Counsel Ongoya is
Senator Murango. Senator Mundigi.
Asante Bwana Spika, swali langu ni kwa advocate wa MCS. Sheria inasema wakati wa impeachment watu wanafaa waende public participation. Advocate wa governor wanasema public participation haikufanyika njia ile inafaa. Naomba advocate wa MCS ako na hasand ama kidhibitisho ya kuonyesha kama wako na wondi 20 walifanya public participation wondi ngapi, kwa sababu iko katika sheria. Na wakati walifanya wanaweza ako na kidhibitisho ya kuonyesha kama iko na hasand ama ni watu tu wali. Bwana Speaker.
Senator Mundigi. Yale mambo ambayo yamezungumzwa na mawakili kutoka upande wa bunge la kaunti ya Isiolo na upande wa governor, hayo ndio mambo unashurutishwa uulize kiwa una tashishi yoyote. Usichukue mambo ambayo haikujadiliwa na haijatoka kwa county assembly ama kwa upande wa governor uzungumzie. Ni yale peke yake ambayo yamezungumziwa ndio unaweza pengine ukiwa una tashishi unaweza kuuliza ili ifafanuliwe zaidi.
Bwana Speaker, hata hiyo swali langu nauliza linafanana na ile majibu alikuwa na jibu.
Senator Kavindu.
Mr. Speaker, my clarification I'm seeking from the county government of Isiolo. When they stood to defend or to talk against this motion, I did not hear them clarify beyond reasonable doubt about the meeting, if there was a sitting on the 18th and on the 26th of June. 2, Mr. Speaker, I want to get a clarification from the lawyers if it will be in order, all right, for this Senate to go against court order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
I want to clarify from the, I want to seek clarification from the advocate of the County Assembly. What the procedural, all the procedures met, was there a quorum? Was there a notice given to the MCAs of this sitting? Was the governor given due notice? Just to try and establish if all the procedural rules that appertain to this kind of motion were met.
Senator Omtata.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to clarify from the councils for the County Assembly whether or not there was a court order issued against the proceedings that eventually resulted in the impeachment that is before us for trial. So whether there was a court order or there was no court order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My clarification, I want to seek a clarification from the team from the County Assembly. There has been a fundamental issue that has been raised by the councils for the governor, that the Isiolo County Assembly did not sit, and they have gone ahead to give us reasons why they believe that the County Assembly did not sit. I have not heard in your rebuttal an attempt to prove to this House that the County Assembly of Isiolo actually sat, because that is an extremely fundamental issue, because the Council for the Governor has gone ahead to say that then if there was no sitting of the County Assembly, then there is no motion before this House. That would be an extremely fundamental issue that we must get to understand, especially from the County Assembly, whether indeed there was a sitting of the County Assembly on this particular matter.
Senator Paris Tobiko.
Speaker, that was actually the question, but I want to ask it directly. Can they confirm and they should...
If it's already been asked, Honorable Senator.
Speaker, let me put it differently. And just to remind them that they were under oath. And they must confirm if there was a sitting on the 26th of the County Assembly of Isiolo.
Now, Honorable Senator, the advocates are not under oath because there are no witnesses in this matter. Senator Mofire.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My concern was preempted by Senator Bonalwala and Senator Manso, because my concern was I listened to the charges.
So it's already been preempted.
Yeah, but
I
thought I could make some further clarification.
No. Senator S.C. Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would wish to seek clarity from the council representing the County Assembly whether the Hansard recording, which is now in doubt, was conducted in the County Assembly or outside. Thank you.
Senator Kenywa.
Mr. Speaker, my issues are raised by Senator Manzo.
Senator Morango. Well, now, Honorable Senators, we shall now move to from the two teams, starting with the County Assembly. Now, I had already indicated the time available to you. 15 minutes to the team from the County Assembly and 15 minutes for the governor's team. You may proceed, Council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to start from the top, Senator Cheriot. You are correct. This matter is as complex as it is simple. Who is the clerk? Is it the clerk who swears an affidavit in the governor's statement? Is it the clerk who swears an affidavit in support of the impeachment motion? Mr. Speaker, it is the position of the County Assembly that the governor captured the clerk. That is a matter of evidence, and that is evidence that we want to lead. When I said we want to cross-examine the clerk, it will become apparent when you listen to that testimony that the governor captured the clerk, and the clerk, for all intents and purposes, became a saboteur to the impeachment proceedings. You will see in the governor's clerk statement, a statement where the clerk says, I cancelled the public participation. So that is what I meant. It is important that the Senate enables this motion to get to the point where the evidence is laid before you, and you can then make up your determination about what happened, who captured who did not capture who. And it is the Assembly's position that the governor cannot capture the clerk and then hold the clerk and say, because there was no clerk, there can be no impeachment. It is apparent in law. You cannot do things like that and seek to benefit from them. So therefore, this motion must then get to the point where evidence is laid. Senator Manzo, what is our rebuttal to the points given? I had stated that a preliminary objection is, in our humble understanding, an issue of law that is raised. There are several factual rebuttals, but we as counsel, in the privileged position we occupy, are unable to testify. Our witnesses have rebutted those things that counsel have said, and it is therefore vitally important that this motion gets to the point where the Senate can hear that testimony from the witnesses themselves. We say, yes, there were sittings that took place, and we have said further that from the conduct of the governor who took those proceedings to court, they acknowledge that the assembly did take place. There is an affidavit from a senior superintendent of police in Isiolo who says that he went and the proceedings in the assembly were disrupted. Surely the Senate must hear from that superintendent of police. We have cross-examination to put to him so that you make up your mind about what happened in those proceedings, who sabotaged, who took place, who took part, and so that you can make up your mind. Yes, it is complex and simple at the same time. Senator Karungo, do we have audio and video of the Hansard of the day? I will allow my colleague to respond to that question. Senator Ojenda, Senior Counsel. Sittings were the basis of the orders obtained in Meru. Yes, we allege that there is an estoppel. Was there a sitting? Yes, there was a sitting, and that is why there is Hansard that the governor's advocates seek to now criticize at the preliminary stage. If there were no sittings, there would be no Hansard. And if there were no sittings, there would then be no foundation for the governor's advocates to go to court in Meru on the 25th or the 26th of June and get the orders that they did. That those orders exist from where we sit is proof that those sittings took place. Senator Mungatana, has the Meru decision been appealed or stayed? Our position is that in respect of impeachment proceedings, the Supreme Court in the Martin Nyaga Wambora matter gave guidance, not just to courts below, but to county assemblies and to the Senate, as to what to do with orders that are issued, like the ones that were issued by the High Court in Meru, in respect of incomplete impeachment proceedings. Those orders, according to the decision of the Supreme Court in Martin Nyaga Wambora, can be, I think the wording used by the Supreme Court is that they cannot be, they should not then be immediately effected. And that is the guidance that has been given by the Supreme Court. Senator Cheralgei, how many clerks? I believe I have attempted to answer that question. Yes, there is a question as to how many clerks there were and who was the clerk, but that is a matter of evidence. They have their position about who the clerk was. We have our position about who the clerk was. As I have said, it is our thesis that they captured the clerk. But the assembly needed to continue, and that is a matter of evidence that will then need to be tabled. As an advocate, I am unable to testify to it, but I know those affidavits exist in the record. Who invited the army? Like I said, in the governor's documents, there is an affidavit by a senior superintendent of police, and it is apparent that if he is swearing an affidavit for the governor, then the answer as to who invited the police or the army is answered by the fact of who is the police or the army testifying in favor of. Was public participation done? Yes, public participation was done. Was public participation done in disregard of the court order? I want the answer that I have given in respect of Senator Mungatana's question as to what should be dealt with court orders of the nature or of the species of, that was issued in Meru in respect of these impeachment proceedings to also apply to this, to that issue. Senator Wambua, is this the official Hansard of the recording proceedings? I will say yes, but my colleague Mr. Mawira will come and deal with that issue in more detail, and he will explain to this House as to why those are the official Hansard reports in respect of the proceedings. Senator Sigei, the ruling of the motion was the ruling that the motion was of no effect. Is that the motion before this House? Yes, it is. And I would urge this House then to consider that ruling in respect or together with the ruling of the Supreme Court or the guidance of the Supreme Court as to what should be done with rulings